In seeking answers to the difficulties to the bracha of Matir Asurim, I am indebted to the online Siddur and commentary that is available at the Chabad.org website. This is a commentary to the entire Tfilat Shacharit from the standpoint of Kabbalah and Chabad Hasidut. In an earlier panel, I noted that the word Asurim as a noun is connected to the Shoresh Aleph Samach Resh, to tie, to bind, to harness, to arrest, to imprison, and also to forbid. And on this basis, all the translators render Asurim as imprisoned, and from the standpoint of the Pshuto Shel Mikra of the Siddur text, Matir Asurim is an acknowledgement that HaKadosh Baruch Hu releases the imprisoned. If we are going to apply a Sod Kabbalistic interpretation to the Pshuto Shel Mikra of this bracha, we will need to accept a number of assumptions. Self-evident within Frum Orthodox Judaism is the existence of a neshama, and that this neshama is an entity that is spiritual, however one defines spiritual, and had existed apart from the guf, the body, prior to actual conception. A second assumption is that this neshama leaves the body during sleep and returns upon awakening. Similar to, by analogy, when a computer moves into what is now known as sleep mode. And thirdly, that the neshama returns in and reinvigorates the body when the person awakes. And dare I suggest that the process of waking takes place when the neshama re-enters the body. These are Kabbalistic concepts that can be applied to all three aspects of the Pshat, Remez and Drush. Chassidut takes the concepts of Kabbalah and applies them to real-world situations, and it is in this context the TORAT CHAYIM writes that each morning the soul is granted renewed spiritual energy to step beyond the prevailing spiritual darkness. In other words, the neshama functioning in a real world in which there is potentially a lot of good, but there's also forces of spiritual darkness, and that each morning as the soul returns to the body, it is granted renewed energy to overcome the spiritual darkness of the physical world. Accordingly, the Matir Asurim bracha is a request that we not be bound by the material orientation of the body, the gashmius tendencies of the guf. And using the imagery of remez, there is a tension between the needs of the neshama and the needs of the body. The imagery is that the body has a bias towards the gashmiut, physical needs of the world. The neshama can feel imprisoned and controlled by the body, and the request from HaKadosh Baruch Hu is that one should rejoice upon awakening with the happiness a detainee would feel upon his or her release from prison. So that now we have redefined the Matir Asurim as referring to the freeing of the neshama from the impulses of the guf. This then allows us to understand the original source for the bracha of Matir Asurim, namely the Gemara in Brachot that states, Ki taritz v'yativ, that upon sitting up straight from sleep, one should recite the bracha of Matir Asurim, blessed be HaKadosh Baruch Hu who sets captives free, where the captives here refers to the neshama that, upon awakening, can potentially be imprisoned during the day. And thirdly, why this bracha had been retained by the authors of the Siddur when it was compiled.